What's going
Okay,
on,
go
ladies
ahead.
and gentlemen? Today we're here with our brother Rashad Hasan. Now, many times we talked about how we have innovated this country, how we as black Americans, descendants of slaves, have contributed greatly. And a lot of times a white supremacist will say, you guys didn't build America. Well, this brother has chronicled just about everything we have invented and innovated in this country. So, Rashad, thank you for joining us on the show today.
It's my honor and pleasure to even be with you, Phil. First off, I enjoy looking at your shows on YouTube. I mean, very enlightening, and what you're doing for our race is very, very important, and I appreciate it myself. And I'm sure that the people out there should appreciate you too.
Oh, brother, we just trying to do the work. So, Rashad, how did you get into doing that research? Because the school don't teach us anything. The American indoctrination system that they put our kids through is just to indoctrinate them into white supremacy. And when it talks about the history of black people, it's always, slavery. Then they jump to Martin Luther King. And then that's it. It's always us being subjugated, but it's never talk about really everything we invented outside of what peanut butter and a few other things. So, what went into all this research?
Well, first off, Phil, I was looking at a PBS program in Washington, D.C., and this white guy came on and said that Africans and African Americans never created anything. And then he tried to demean the Africans by saying that they've been living in Africa for 300 or 400 years with diamonds sticking up through their toes, and they never got any kind of headway on their diamonds. But then when he started talking about African Americans, I decided I wanted to do a little research, and I came across a list, just a very short list of inventions, and I started to do more and more and more research. So one day I was walking down the street, and I went into the library, and I took my list, and I started putting quarters in this machine to find out what these inventions were. And I ended up spending a whole lot of time, whole lot of energy, a whole lot of money with creating a book. I actually did a magazine at first on the inventions, and the magazine wasn't large enough, so I had to end up creating a 400-page book with illustrations and patents of all the inventions that I could get that blacks had created, and it just kind of just blew my mind. Then I'm like, okay, I still don't have enough room, so I created another volume with about 700 pages. And I added the astronauts in there because I said, okay, let me see what the astronauts had done in the space program. And I discovered that, wow, these guys actually, these men and women went up in space and they were doing things that I couldn't imagine that would be doing in space. So not only the inventions were just vast, Phil. I mean, you could just, I think I gave Kellen a video or DVD that listed all of these things, and on the DVD that I had given him, I actually had the space footage of the astronauts going up in space, working on the space station, working on just various different things that have actually contributed to a lot of the communications and a lot of things that are working down here on Earth. So I spent a lot of time in the library. I just spent hours and hours and hours of time in the libraries. Then I spent a lot of money just to create this. And then what I did is went to these schools. Now what happened, Phil, is I was up in Minneapolis with my inventions. And I would go to these different schools and libraries. Well, the first one I went to, I had created a DVD, not a DVD, but a CD. And the guy bought it. I mean, after looking at it for 30 seconds, he bought it. That was in St. Paul. But then in Minneapolis, they started pushing back on me. So to make a long story short, Phil, I went to the Minneapolis public schools to see if I could get them to buy my information. And the lady told me she wanted rainbow stuff. So I didn't really know what rainbow was. I was pretty square. So it took me 2 weeks to find out what rainbow was. And that was, stuff for the LGBT community. So I'm thinking to myself, they don't really want anything for the black kids, and the black kids are suffering. I went down in Miami-Dade County, and I ended up with some black people down there, very influential black people, and they bought my stuff. And so I started running into roadblocks when I went up toward Tallahassee, and the brothers were stopping me. For some reason, they just started stopping me. And I went to this one professor named Professor Eaton, and I asked him, I said, why are the professors stopping me from selling my stuff in the school? So he said, well, they're jealous of you because you have what they want, and they should have got. I couldn't believe that. So I went back and did more research, and so I got enough research for another volume. I've got the volume 3 getting ready to come out, and so what happens is I got the specifications of all these inventions, where if a kid really, if this stuff was in a school, a kid could go actually to the library and pick up this book, or they could buy the book for individual kids, and these kids could look at our ancestors' inventions and come up with other inventions and improve on the inventions that they would see in my book. So my book is actually for your kids, my kids, and all those people's kids out there, man, to see what our ancestors have contributed to this country, and we have contributed greatly to this country. And it's just, if I could just show you all these inventions, it's so vast, Phil, that they would have to either just go to Baker and Taylor and get the book and see it, and then I boilerplated it down too, because I'm like, okay, some of these teachers are complaining, my kids don't read. So I said, okay, I'll create a true and false question and answer book, 32 pages, fill in the blank, multiple choice. After they read the story about the inventor or the invention or the astronaut, they read the story. I create the fill in the blank, multiple choice, true and false, writing assignments, which would improve their writing skills. So I boilerplated that down. I boilerplated 700 and something pages down and started doing individual inventions, no more than 32 pages, but with reading assignments and the quizzes, crossword puzzles, and everything right there. So that's why I got into this, and I've been into it for a while. And I intend to have these books in libraries, whoever wants to buy them across the country, so our kids will have access to what our ancestors actually have done, more so than rapping, more so than playing football and baseball and running the football up and down the field and just wanting to rap. I want them to be scientists. I want them to be inventors. I would like for them to be. It's not what I want, it's what they want. But I would like to have them have the access to this information so that it will spark their imagination to be and do and dare to be great and contribute something to the society. That's my whole thing. So you can ask me anything you want to, Phil.
Let me ask you some questions here.
Okay.
What are some inventions that a lot of Black Americans didn't realize that was invented by Black people?
Well, we'll start with the stoplight, where everybody go driving around. That was Garrett Morgan. He created that. We'll go to the gas mask, which he created, and Benjamin Banneker, of course, with the clock, designing things. And we got Lois Latimer with the electric lights. We got G.T. Woods, who did the brake and train system. We got F.M. Jones, who created the refrigeration system. So when you go into the store and all your refrigerated goods are there, you can thank this brother for creating the refrigeration system when they didn't even have one.
Let me stop you right there, brother. Let me stop you right there. It's two things I want to say to that. Now, when these people say Black people didn't do anything, number one, let's go back to Benjamin Banneker, because he's one of the people that I definitely know a few things about. This brother designed Washington, D.C.
Exactly. After LaFlante walked off with the plans.
Right. This same brother created the Farmer's Almanac.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have a Farmer's Almanac, wouldn't be for a Black man. And he is the father of astronomy.
Exactly.
So you wouldn't have NASA.
Exactly, man. I got a little thing here, right here, Phil, on Benjamin Banneker, right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it says that at 22, using a borrowed watch, he borrowed this watch as a model and a pocket knife as his only tool now. Mm-hmm. He constructed the first clock made in America. It kept accurate time for over 20 years. Now, this is Benjamin Banneker.
Right.
Yeah, and he was Benjamin Banneker was an astronomer and a city planner, and he helped lay out the city of Washington D.C. because Lafont, this Frenchman, walked off with the plans, and he had to come from memory with this stuff. And he was instrumental in doing that, and he did the almanac, like you said, and he was back there with Thomas Jefferson and all those boys. So this guy was very, very important. And this is the kind of things that your little girl, I would like for her to have access to this kind of information when she grows, when she gets in school, when she gets into kindergarten, first grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, all the way up to 12 in the college. And that's why I do these things like that, Phil, for your kids, my kids, and the black kids in America.
Yeah, and also, you know, something else is I've learned that, you know, they used to name any slave that was extremely smart, they called him Benjamin.
Really? Well, just think about the cotton gin. Mm-hmm. Brothers out there doing all the cotton, and it was a brother that figured out the cotton gin, but Eli Whitney gets the credit for this.
Right.
This is crazy, man. And so a lot of slaves had to give their inventions over to the so-called master. And I call them, actually, they're not slaves, they're captured Africans,
right.
Prisoners of war, you know. But they had a lot of inventions. Like this brother did a camera, young brother did a camera that went up to the moon, and it's still up there. This brother, he created this camera. His name is Dr. George Crothers. So when they went up in that space program, he created this camera that would take pictures on the moon. The camera is still up there. Another brother, the rover that goes across the moon surface, created the wheels on this moon rover. This brother was very, very proficient. Dr. Sherney. And of course, Buford was the first brother to go up in space. Then we had these sisters like Mae Jemison. She was a medical doctor. Mrs. Higginbotham, she went up there. She was a robotic engineer. So brothers and sisters can get into this because they got the new space program going up there. And so we don't want them up there not knowing what they're doing because we don't know what they're gonna send back down here.
Right.
So they're gonna try to veer our brothers off into this rap music, veer our brothers off into this these entertainment shows to get their mind. Because a mind, man, this is what I'm talking about. These people have a conspiracy against our brothers and sisters in these school systems, Phil, purposely to keep us away from the real truth of who we are. And it's a shame and a disgrace, man. But
they do that by design because they know any space that we get in and we left alone, we not only compete, but we dominate. That's why they invest themselves so much into oppressing us and to keeping us out of anything. They know that. They had us out of their professional sports. We come in and dominate that. You didn't let black folks on the golf course. Well, they came in and dominated that, you know, through a Tiger Woods, okay? You know, they don't want to let you on Wall Street. The reason why they won't let you on Wall Street is because they know the moment that you get in, you're going to pass them and dominate Wall Street as well. That's why they keep us out of every industry because let me tell you something. They know exactly who we are and they know what we're capable of, brother. And that's why they want to kill us. That's why they want to dumb us down and play, you know, want our heroes to be Cardi B. And nothing against Cardi B. I'm just saying they'll promote her instead of promoting a young sister that, you know, just became a lawyer at an early age or a young brother that's invented something. You get what I'm saying?
Of course. And like you got pilots, okay, like Tuskegee Institute, for example. Mm-hmm. I've had an occasion to visit Tuskegee Institute and saw what these guys were doing in the Air Force. Well, actually, they were air fighter pilots, and sisters were nurses, and they never really give these brothers really the credit that they need. And I'm sure they're going to try to keep the young brothers out of space, out of flying planes. But then I looked at George Washington Carver. Of course, they just say, okay, he did peanuts and stuff like that. But he was like, I got a picture here where it says this guy, President Roosevelt, gave this guy an award And he said, to the greatest scientist in the world. That's who this guy was. And if you ever heard of a plant, people say, I'm going to the plant and work. Well, they got that idea from George Washington Carver because he took a plant to Henry Ford to show him how to make his fenders more durable. And so it was a plant. So that acronym, the plant, came from Carver. And
Now, see,
Carver,
that's something new I didn't know. I mean, see, and I learned so much from just doing a lot of these interviews. So you're saying that using the term the plant came from a brother, George Washington Carver.
exactly. And
But yet
Henry
black
Ford-
people don't create nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Phil. When that guy told me that, that's what made it just spurred my whole interest to say, wait a minute, I know a little bit better than that. And that's why I went and started doing research up on top of research, man. I was amazed at all these inventions these brothers had made. And then Dr. Carver, Henry Ford was always trying to recruit Dr. Carver. Dr. Carver didn't even sell his inventions, Phil, and he did a lot, man. I'm telling you, he did more than that peanut. The peanut is the only thing that got him. He did paints and stains. He did all kinds of stuff. Henry Ford tried his best to recruit Dr. Carver, but Dr. Carver wouldn't leave Booker T. Washington. And Dr. Carver wouldn't sell his inventions. He felt his inventions came from God, and he wanted them to benefit the people. How many selfish individuals do you have or get something and want to sell it and this and that and other, which they should, that's their prerogative. But here was a man that was a God-fearing man. He always attributed all his inventions to God and helped him do this. And so we need to get back to our spirituality so we can get on a plane of thinking, a plane of researching, a plane of daring to be great like our ancestors. We have some great ancestors, Phil, and our brothers and sisters, our young brothers and sisters don't know and realize this, and they should. But the school system is failing our people. They are failing our people left and right, man. And I saw a piece that you did, I think it was a few weeks ago, talking about the school system. I said, well, Phil, he just doesn't know. That was a great interview, and a lot of people need to know this conspiracy that's going on in the school system to prevent our kids from reading about our people. I got about 500 books, Phil, with ISBN numbers on them, on the contributions of our people, man, that should actually be in the school system, to keep them to read. But they don't want them to read.
Well, see, brother, this is the problem. If you start injecting all the things that we have invented in this country, how things that we have invented is just basically part of everyday life, even the refrigerated truck, for instance, not only just the refrigerator in the store, but the refrigerated truck. You wouldn't have your milk and all of the ice cream, anything else. It wouldn't be, for black folk, right? I mean, we could talk about so many different things that we, have invented. You wouldn't even have a fork or a spoon. It wouldn't be for black people. It gets that deep. So if you start teaching black people who they really are, and then you want to promote a white supremacy ideology, you really can't teach black people everything you invented. You have to promote a lie that says you didn't invent anything, because the thing is, they want to keep you inferior, right? And they know it's complete opposite. We're not inferior people. We're not inferior intellectually. We're not inferior physically. We're definitely impervious to the sun. What part of us is inferior?
Phil, I discovered more things, because I do a lot of research, Phil. I discovered that we are a chosen people. We are God's chosen people. We just don't realize it, man, because spiritually we lost our way spiritually. But they have been chasing us down since 70 AD. 70 AD, when we come up out of Jerusalem and and the Romans chased us out of Jerusalem because we disobeyed God, man. This is our problem. We disrespected God. We were doing idol worship and stuff way back there, 65 AD, 70 AD. And when the Romans chased us up out of Jerusalem, we went to Africa at a place called Negro Land, Mali, over there on the West Coast, over there by Nigeria, and those places like that. It's called Negro Land. And the Arabs and the Romans and some Africans have been chasing us out because we are a special people, Phil. In the United States, these brothers and sisters in the West Indies and the United States, especially us in the United States, we are special. Marcus Garvey tried to tell us how special we are, how to up, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. And so we've had these brilliant brothers, man, that we need to study these brothers and see what they were doing, because we lost our way. We lost our way even more when we went to the civil rights bills, and we lost our way when we went into integration. We kept segregation. We would still have our communities. But every time we build a community, they'll drop a bomb on Wall Street and drop bombs, and they did everything they could in their power to destroy us, Phil, because we are, my research has done, it showed me that we are God's chosen people, but we don't know this yet. And they don't want us to know this, Phil. They do not want us when I say they, I'm talking about the power system, the system that's in place now, the banking system and the boys that control that, the deep state in the United States. As long as they can keep us on that football field, on that basketball court, and recording that crazy music that I wouldn't let your kid listen to at all. I'm ashamed, man, of how they have taken our kids and molded their minds 100 or maybe 360 degrees around from what they really can be. They should dare to be great, because we come from some great people and our ancestors are great, even though some of them were idol worshipers, but we still are God's chosen people, and we still.
Well, you mentioned in the music, and let's talk about that. The music, every genre of music, jazz, rock and roll, country music, yes, even country music, hip hop, soul, whatever music you want to talk about, black folks have created those genres of music. Now, but some people, have an issue with hip hop, and the issue with when it was originally called rap, it was conscious music or party music. That's where it started off, right? So they was either, talking about how proud they are, their blackness, calling out the system, in the beginning, and also they're having fun with it. And then you had, the West Coast rap come out where they telling, basically the stories of the streets and what really was going on out there, in LA. So the biggest issue that I'm seeing with some people saying, oh, the music, the fact is outside forces have got involved with the music and took it away from what it originally started, our invention, and literally made it trash. And it was done by design. And I don't know if you know about that meeting they had with private prison corporations and record labels before the music started changing. They wanted to get more black men in prison, so they sat down with record labels and it was telling them, listen, we need you to promote more violent music so we can get these young black men into our prison system. So once they made that behind the scenes agreement, this is why you would see a lot of black men, not because they want to, but they're promoting black men to call black women the B words and, talking about drug use and I kill a N and all the things that they'll put in there, extremely violent music. But the moment one of those artists would say they would kill another race of person and put a slur in it, all of a sudden that record is pulled, is a problem. But it's okay to say you will kill the N word, right? So, and it had an effect. It did have an effect, a sinister effect, to promote a lot of violence within our community. Because you notice that the record labels don't promote violence in no other race except ours?
Well, what I've discovered on that field is that this is a lot of witchcraft involved into this.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of witchcraft, Phil, and our brothers and sisters don't realize what's going on. But you remember when we said, brother, Mark A., James Brown, I'm Black and I'm Proud.
Right.
All those positive music icons that we had, and then it shifted. It shifted with, we got to get more people in the prison. Look at all those brothers in the prison, man. That's disgraceful. But you know why they're there? Because they know their potential. They know if they can put those brothers, millions of brothers in jail, that means 1 million votes. They got rid of 1 million votes. They got rid of 2 or 3 children. You understand? They're trying to destroy us, Phil.
Well, that's the key. That's the key you just said. Try. because really we should have been wiped out. And I read the report on the Negro family back in the 70s. We had this guy by the name of Patrick Moynihan, and he also came up with that benign and neglect policy when it comes to black folks in the area of voting. In other words, don't promise black people nothing, kind of skate past black people, which the Democratic Party has been doing since that time period of his report. But he said all the things that blacks have been through, they should have been wiped out. We should have. I mean, look at what we have been through, and yet we still innovating. We still, making it. Now, you hear Donald Trump and them talking about make America great again. You know what really made America great? I'm gonna tell you, when black people was constantly producing.
Exactly.
And when black people just stopped producing, that's really when America stopped being great.
Exactly. But let me tell you about that, man. I hear so many people complaining about Trump, but they should be thanking Trump, because Trump stopped the deep state from taking over the United States of America. And Trump is trying to take out this Federal Reserve thing. This is what's been keeping the whole country down. And Trump has tried, and the media has tried to make him out to hate black people. When I saw a conference that he did with Dr. Carter, this brother down in South Carolina that's a state senator, and a couple of the ministers that went against their membership to meet with this guy because he wanted to come and build up the black cities. And black congressional caucus would not even come to the meeting, man. So they got an agenda field. Not only do we have other people against us, we got our own black people that's against us. Most especially these politicians that we've been supporting for years and years. And then we got the NAACP. And I mean, I don't know if you agree with anything. So these are just my opinions, Phil. And this what I've researched, because I do a lot of research, and I see where these people have been enemies to our people, man, and our well-being. They will let anybody else come in here, give them their little reparations. They have not given us reparations. They've taken our farms through tax tricks. Again, every time we build a community up, they destroy it. They've been after us since 70 AD, Phil, and we got our own people in some of these political positions that do our people no good. I just wish that we could have a cadre of young, enterprising black people that could take over these political positions and help us, or somebody like Marcus Garvey come back on the scene to try to help us and try to motivate our young people, man. We need to motivate our young people, Phil. That's why I've done these inventions. I want these people to be motivated and say, hey, man, we did that, well, we can do it better.
Right.
And they can do it better.
Right. Well, the thing is, like I said, it takes just presenting, who we are and what we have done to get people motivated. Because sometimes, what I've learned is just a lot of us don't know, because we was put in through the American indoctrination system that indoctrinates you into white supremacy. So a lot of us don't know. So it takes us to take, the initiative to try to inform the people, much as possible, and I think about, different ways that I could even do a better job at that. And maybe, start doing videos highlighting, maybe a brother or two, and start informing everything. That way, when these white supremacists try to say, you guys didn't do crap, say, oh no, I learned this woman did this and that man did that, and there ain't nothing you could tell me. You get what I'm saying? So education is definitely, the key, with everything that we have going on, for sure. But, for us to progress, right? Like I said, knowledge is power.
Of course.
And we got to obtain that.
Phil, I'm going to start, I think I'm going to start having Amazon carry some of those inventions on their store. I'm just thinking about ways and means of getting it out in the distribution. But you got a copy, I think, of some of the things there. So whenever you have to refer back to it, man, if they come up with this, black people haven't created anything, or dare to be great. I mean, they're there for you.
Well, you're right. I do have that PDF, And I was looking at all the different names on there because, you know, you could, like I say, I've done this before. I've just taken stories and, you know, showed something in history what we have, you know, been through. And, you
Sure.
know, the amazing part for me now is that people just love it and they don't turn away from it and they want to learn. So like I said, there's a lot of people in our community want to learn because as you learn to actually who you are and where you come from and what you have done even in this country, it builds up your self-esteem. So like I said, these white supremacists that's invested into your low self-esteem and want you feeling inferior, there's nothing they could do with you. Now, earlier you were speaking about those black people like an NAACP and other groups that is not for us. You have to understand there is, and like I said, it's all been hitting me as a recent, there are black people that are heavily invested in the oppression of black people because they get Negro trinkets from white supremacy. So they don't want you to learn either. They'll act like they want you to learn. They'll act like they want you free, but really it's all lip service. They just want to keep us down. Even in the continent of Africa, it's the same thing. You got black folks that are invested in keeping us in an inferior position.
They're the gatekeepers.
You know, Phil, and I see how you, Dr. Mumby, and others, Dinus and all those brothers really got Africa on your heart. But I've discovered even more, man, I was doing research till 6 o'clock this morning on some more brothers that were saying, look, man, the Nigerian army is wicked and evil. We're doing screenplays, writing screenplays together, and I feel that he's my brother, and I don't think he would do anything to hurt me because we were just like brothers. You know, we'd go down Hollywood Boulevard and he might have a disagree with me and we'll be just arguing and fighting and stuff, but he stayed in contact with me. And he called me up about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Come on over here, man, at the Ivory Coast. I'll give you some land right up here on the beach area, right on the Atlantic Ocean. So, you know, the more we touch bases with these people that live there and know about the place, I think it will happen that we will be able to one day find out where we came from. See, we got to find out where we came. They know where they came from. They know what tribe they came from. You see what I'm saying? When we discover, when we do more and more research on Negro land and all those places where the slave trade was and dig up those books that these doggone white guys, these explorers were doing in Africa. They see, they was writing for the white folks. Hey, this is what's happening over here. And they might be writing some messed up stuff, but you got to go through that and see what actually was happening. You know, you got to read between lines on a lot of this stuff. But I must have had 25, 30 books on these African explorers, these white boys that went over to Africa and did what they did. So, and we could take these inventions, our mind in Africa. We could build up Africa. But now you got the Chinese over there building up Africa. You got, of course, the bankers, the international banking system want to get over there. The United States even got the military over there now. When they had a segregated army in Liberia, now you got to remember Liberia was set up by our ancestors. And Liberia was a very educated place after they set it up, okay? And they wanted to blame those people for slavery and this and that and the other. I was looking at books, man, years and years ago. These people were doing science and they were on it. We would have had a satellite system up there had not Harvey Firestone and all those greedy guys went over there and wanted to take the rubber out of the trees for themselves because the plan wasn't for them. The white folks actually set up Liberia with us because they knew God was going to punish them for slavery. But these guys come along around in the 20th century, about the time that Garvey wanted to go back over there, and FBI, CIA, all of them destroyed our people, put those Africans up to killing our ancestors on the beach. But that place would have been a very, very a good role model for us. They did the same thing to Haile Selassie in Ethiopia. The Italians go over there and drop mustard gas on these people because they defeated them in this war, this Adawi war. They actually defeated the Italians. The Italians gets mad, and Mussolini, he gets on his high horse and say he gonna go and take Ethiopia over. And Ethiopia, man, Ethiopia was a great place, man. Same thing with Somaliland. So every place in Africa, you know, being that we are black, for some reason, they don't want us to rise. They don't. And when I say they, I'm talking about international bankers, the deep state, the Rothschilds, all them cats are involved in this, man. And our brothers and sisters don't know about these people. They need to study these people. They need to study who runs the country, who's in charge of the world, who's in charge of the finance, the law, the medical. They need, like Dr. Drew, okay? Blood plasma, okay? This guy, he actually created a blood plasma system and died in the hospital because they wouldn't give him no blood when he was in a car accident. So our medical people, we had these brilliant medical people, man. I want our brothers and sisters to start, even if they don't see my book, just go dig it up, do the research. Go just want to do it in your spirit, in your heart. Want to be great. Want to be more than the football player. Want to be more than a basketball player and a rapper. If you're going to rap some music to glorify the people. Glorify us. Glorify our ancestors in the good job. But they won't let that go out, Phil.
Well, it's not about them letting, it's more so about us doing it. Because, like I said, somebody could not allow you to do things, but we are stronger than that, and we just have to push back and just do it anyway. And, you know, like you talk about the music. If our young brothers would say, you know what, I'm never signing to nobody's record label. You don't need to. You know, like Dame Dash talks about, you have music distribution now, which is your iTunes, your Google, your Tidal, Spotify. He said things we used to have to sign deals for. Now you got it basically at your fingertips. So you can get your music all throughout the world. You can actually book shows. You can travel overseas. You can do all these things on your own now that you don't need a record label for. And if black people would even get on that and say, I'm never signing to no labels, but I'm not going to let them own my masters, own my name, own my likeness, put me in a 360 deal, which is the most horrible thing ever for people in music. These record labels will go broke overnight. And that's what needs to happen. Same thing with our brothers that's playing sports. Why can't we recreate the Negro League like we had it? We ain't got to call it Negro League, but recreate sports leagues and have our brothers playing in those sports leagues. Let me tell you something. All them brothers love the NFL, the NBA, and you just let everybody else play it. Trust me, the NFL, NBA will go bankrupt overnight because people are going to see black talent.
Exactly, man. Exactly. But you see, if the brothers would just think about what happened to Prince, think about what happened to Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. Now, I knew Prince because I'm in Minneapolis doing a television show, a music television show. And Prince had a nightclub up there, and he used to come to that nightclub. I'd never seen Prince take a drink of liquor, do nothing crazy. You never heard about Prince getting in any trouble. He was just that quiet, and he had an empire. Prince had an empire, bro. Like you go to Warner Brothers, shoot, Warner Brothers, he was on. His whole stuff was on. Michael Jackson was a giant. But here's what happened. When they wanted to take control of their creation, the Illuminati said, oh no, you made us mad. You wanted to take your stuff over. You just won a court case where you control your own masters. We'll lay it for you. And all them brothers, something happened to them. Something happened to Michael, something happened to Prince, something happened to Whitney Houston. And the brothers in the music industry need to stand up and examine what happened to these brothers, what happened to these sisters. And they're going to know who they're dealing with, a wicked, evil system. And they do need to take that system over and control it themselves. They can do this. Like you say, the tools are out there now. They don't have to do what Prince did or Whitney did and go beg these people and bow down to these people to create their own stuff. Jane Brown, black and I'm proud, brother. I'm black and I'm proud. They need to get on that train.
Well, Chris Brown is actually the latest person that got some of his masters back. And immediately after he get his masters back, all of a sudden the female trying to accuse him of raping her in France. You get what I'm saying? I mean, and I said in my video, say, look, Chris, if you're going to see this or not, I don't know. But brother, they ain't coming for you. They after you now because you got your masters back.
Of course. Oh yeah. See, that's just it. The brothers they think that these people are their friends. They're not their friends, Phil. They're not their friends. You know? And so the brothers has got to just learn who they really, really are and learn that they don't have no friends in that industry. We don't have no friends in the entertainment industry. They'll give us a little token. Now you go out there and you make fun of that sister over there, make her look as bad as she can be. Atlanta Housewives and all this garbage. Put that out there. Jerry Springer. Mm-hmm. I was so happy when that man's show got off the airfield. You still with me, Phil?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I was so happy when they took that garbage off the television distribution network. Because I used to call up on that and complain on that show. Why you got these black people out here acting like this? Why you got our people out here looking crazy?
But you know, brother, let me stop you on some of that.
Okay, go
ahead. They don't force black folks to go up there. We're choosing to do that, and we got to have more dignity and self-respect for ourselves to not be a part of that mess. That's our thing. Because, you know, we'll be hard on a black man. If a black man had the exact same show, a Maury Povich kind of show, a Jerry Springer kind of show, we would go in on that black man. We'll tear him apart. But it's okay if a white man make money off of, you know, bad behavior in the black community. That's fine. And black folks don't say nothing about that. That's why we need to have that same reaction, same outrage, same energy to the Maury Povich of the world, because you had a black man that was bringing black couples up there all the time with the paternity test and do all the things they're doing on that show just to make, you know, I know Maury bring, you know, white people and whoever else he bring on, but a lot of people he bring on is black, okay? And they just living up to a stereotype, which you know good and well, not all of us out there just recklessly having children like that. We're not. Right. But it's reinforcing a racist stereotype by black folk. And it's amazing how black people just let him pass underneath the radar too. But if we get some more dignity and self-respect for ourselves, a lot of things will actually stop happening and shut down. I always tell people we need to cut these people out of our lives and have a true time period that they cannot benefit from us. But, you know, anytime you talk like that, they want to be chasing behind you and saying, oh, why you want to be like that? Well, you notice we the only people they act that way with. They don't go chase down the Asian or the Hispanic or the Arab. They're always chasing us.
That's because we are special people. We are God's people, and we better start believing we are. You understand what I'm saying? We are the chosen people. We are the chosen people, and they know this. They want us to go hanging your pants down, walking around all looking depressing. You know, come on, pull your pants up, brothers. You're better than that. You're better than that. You got more pride than that. Pride, dignity, self-respect, especially in front of the women. But I hear the women love it too. They love to see them walking around there. So this is how far they have gravitated toward this nonsense that these images that these people put out for them. You know, and it's gonna take brothers like yourself that have a show. I mean, you know, 20 years ago, it was unheard of. You had a show like yours that you can express ideas and communicate to brothers and sisters. And so I really appreciate your show. I really appreciate Dr. Mambi's show and Dinah's show and the rest of those brothers out there that's sharing positive ideas, because it's going to take us as a collective to overcome this. And we got to really get back to God. I don't care who you got, just a supreme being or whatever you want to say. We have to get our spirituality back, brother. Because the Congress, the Black Congressional Congress, by all rights, should be holding the FCC accountable for the trash that they put in our community. They are the ones that should be out there saying, hey, look, we can read a bill here to stop this. Well, no, freedom of speech. Oh, yes, you can. But no, they're collecting their money, doing absolutely nothing for the blacks, and kicking the can on down the road, and not even training blacks to take their place in the Congress now. They're not even doing that. I was up there in Minneapolis. I said, Keith, what happened to you, man? Why are you out of Congress? And some Somali girl took his seat. I'm like, wait a minute. They have destroyed the community. They have destroyed the black community and brought these people in to take us out because the nonsense that was coming from Chicago up into Minneapolis didn't come with civic responsibility. They came with the welfare. They came with the crime. They came with the shoot-up stuff.
So,
Yeah,
Rashad, how people get in contact with you, brother?
people can get in contact with me. I got a website. It's www.a like in Alpha, F like in Frank, C like in Charlie, H like in Harry, R like in Ron, O like in Oscar, N like in Nancy, the number 5 at AOL.com. And they could also email me at AFCRON, that's stands for African American Chronicle, but it's AFCHRON, the number 5 at AOL.com. And they can email me or they can call me at 404-980-1622. And I'll be more than happy to talk to them. I'll be more than happy to come to their schools, come to their churches, come to any venue that they want me to come to talk to their kids, to motivate their kids, to motivate those parents, to motivate the churches. Anytime, anywhere, I'm here. And I appreciate Phil being on your show. Like I say, I admire your show. I respect your show. I love your show. And you just keep up the good works, Phil, because I'm in your corner.
All right, well, hey, I need all the people I can get in the corner, man. I mean, shoot, it's tough out here. But, ladies and gentlemen, make sure we put in the comment, the pin one at the top. What I mean by the pin comment is just as you scroll down, they have a comment that'll be stuck there by us. That's what I mean by when I say pinned comment, 'cause I get asked about that. So make sure you check that out. Rashad, thank you for joining us on the show today. It was great talking to you, brother. A great build. And, you have a blessed week.
And you as well, Phil, and thank you so much for having me on your show.